Okay, that we will complete for the first half an hour. Okay, then we will go for the pointers. We'll see once functions. Okay, then we'll go for the pointers. Okay. Okay, I'm sharing the screen. Okay. And unions, we have very limited questions, and within this, we get the choice from the arrays. You will get the two questions. From the one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and strings. You will get the two questions, and from this enums and unions, you will get the two questions. Okay, that is either you need to write these structures questions, or you can write the arrays question. Okay, any one question you can write. So here you have. So I will show you real questions of this. The previous type of questions. I think all of you are able to see this. Okay. That is, these are the questions which are given in the previous JNTK papers. Okay, here we have some questions are frequently. That is
Screen not visible now.
One second. Okay, is all of you getting the same problem, or somebody are getting the same? ఏంటమ్మా
రావట్లేదు మ్యామ్ స్క్రీన్
ఎవరికి రావట్లేదా స్క్రీన్ కానీ ఏ స్క్రీన్ కనిపించట్లేదా ఏది డిస్ప్లే అవుతుంది ఏ స్క్రీన్ డిస్ప్లే అవుతుంది మీకు
ఏం డిస్ప్లే అవ్వట్లేదు
బ్లాంక్ వస్తుందా
ఎస్ మ్యామ్
టీమ్స్ స్క్రీన్ అన్న కనిపిస్తుంది నో మ్యామ్ టీమ్ స్క్రీన్ రావట్లేదు Okay, once again I am sharing the screen. Check once. So ఇప్పుడు ఒకసారి చెక్ చేయండి అమ్మా వస్తుందా స్క్రీన్ ఏమన్నా
ఎస్ మ్యామ్
క్వశ్చన్స్ డిస్ప్లే అవుతున్నాయా Okay, thank you. Okay, these are the questions related to the structures, unions and enums. Okay. So first question is how do you declare, initialize and access a structure and explain the same with examples. So you need to show that how to declare a structure and how to assign the values into the structure and how to display the values from the structure. Okay, accessing is you need to display the values from the structure. Okay, so this you need to write as a theory. Okay, ఎలా చేయాలి అనేది థియరీగా రాస్తారు. Okay, then you can write a program as an example. Okay, you need to write a program as an example for this. Okay, next one is you need to write a program to calculate the grade of a student in a class of 60 students using structures. Okay, that is you need to create a structure like this. Struct student, int serial number, student number, character name, and 3 subjects S1, S2, S3. Okay, then you can write a main function. Okay, where you can create the array for this student structure. That's like so here you can create a స్టూడెంట్ క్యాప్స్ పడుతున్నాయి బై డిఫాల్ట్ మనకి వర్డ్ కాబట్టి క్యాప్ట్ అవుతుంది అన్ని స్మాల్స్ ఏనమ్మా ఏవి క్యాప్స్ లేవు స్మాల్స్ ఏనా సో హియర్ యూ నీడ్ టు క్రియేట్ ఏ అరే ఆఫ్ సైజ్ 60 okay because you want to take the 60 students data okay you can write a for loop okay, to calculate the grade and others you can take a I variable for to enter the data You need to write it as I equals to 0, I less than 60. So then you will be enter the data using a scanf. Scanf. So for all these variables, first is student number, second is student name, percentages, next three subjects, so three percentage D symbols. Next you can write it as ampersand S of I. Okay, I is the array index. Okay, S of ith student data you are taking, dot S number, student number, S of I dot S name, comma, ampersand S of I dot S1 subject marks, ampersand S of I dot ampersand S of I dot S3. Like this you need to enter all the data. Okay. And then you just make a grading. Write another for loop, and there we can do here itself you can print the data with a grade, or you can directly print the grades. We'll do one thing. I'll close it, and you can write a one more for loop to print the data. Here you can write it as printf, and you can remove all the ampersand symbols. Okay, this is for the printing of a data. At the same time, here you can calculate the grade. Take another variable as grade, and also take a AVG, average variable. So calculate the first average. AVG equals to S of I dot S1 plus S of I dot S plus S of I dot, that is we are adding all the three subjects marks. The three subjects marks are added, divided by 3, which finds the average. Now you need to check this average. If PG is greater than the, say 75, take it as whatever the range you are expecting for the grades. Okay, you can put your own conditions. Okay, there is no problem. Say if it is the average is 90 equals to grade okay, variable డైరెక్ట్గా ప్రింట్ చేసేద్దాం. A grade. Okay. If average is
Grade.
greater than 75, UVG is less than. So there might be the mistakes in my program, and ఈక్వల్స్ కానీ అలాంటి ఏమన్నా మిస్టేక్స్ ఉంటే కనుక కరెక్ట్ తీసుకోవచ్చు. ఇక్కడ కూడా గ్రేటర్ దాన్ ఆర్ ఈక్వల్స్ తీసుకుందాం. ప్రింట్ you can take it as a B grade. Same you can copy and paste for the grades. So whatever the number of grades you want to put, you can take it as like that. Greater than 60, less than 25. So it's a grade C grade. Just we will make it as greater than or equals to 35. I want to put it as less than 60. I want to use this as a D grade. That's all. These are all the grades I want to print. Now it's closed. Close the program. So this is the simple code that you can write for the grades. Okay, first you need to create a structure. Okay, this is the structure creation. Then within the main, we'll create an array variable for that structure. Then take the I variable and average variable. Next, repeat a for loop for 60 times and take the data. Next, write another for loop to repeat again 60 times. Then display the data and also calculate the average. Average and find the grade using the average. If it is greater than 90, A grade. If it is 75 to 90, B grade. 60 to 75, C grade. 35 to 60, D grade. This is the program for the second question. Question is to calculate the grade of the students in a class of 60 students using structures. Okay, for the first question, we will see how to declare, initialize, and access a structure. Go through all the questions, then we will go for PPT. Next is to give the differences between structures and unions and write a program to find sum of marks in 3 subjects for a student using structures. Sum of marks in 3 subjects for a student using structures. Okay, this is the same structure. Okay, that is in the second question. Second question lo unnate same student number, name, 3 subjects marks toti structure create cheyali. While printing, this is only for one student. Okay, it's not for multiple students. Okay, just you need to create a structure variable and enter the one student data and display that student data including 3 subjects sum, S1 plus S2 plus S3. Okay, so you need to display all the data and also the sum of the 3 subjects. Next, this is also the same question, differentiation of the unions and structures, and write the syntax for nested structures. Okay, that is, you can create the one structure into the another structure. Okay, for that you can write a syntax. This is also the same example. Define and declare a structure to store the date which include the day, month and year. So just you need to create a structure which contains 3 variables, day, month and year. Yes.
2 types of nested structures ఉన్నాయిగా ma'am.
Ma?
Nested structures 2 types ఉన్నాయిగా ma'am. 2 రాయాలా ma'am?
నెస్టెడ్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్ ఒకటి ఇన్లైన్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్, స్ట్రక్చర్లో స్ట్రక్చర్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం. ఒకటి అవుట్ సైడ్ క్రియేట్ చేసి దాని వేరియబుల్ మనం నెక్స్ట్ స్ట్రక్చర్లో క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం. సో రెండిట్లో ఏదో ఒకటి రాస్తే చాలు, ఒక సింటాక్స్ రాస్తే చాలు. And describe the process of declaration, initialization and union with example. And 2 types of operators used for accessing of a structure. Okay, what are the 2 types of operators for accessing a structure?
Point
Dot operator.
dot operator.
Dot operator.
The pointer.
Operator and pointer operator. Okay. So whenever you are creating a pointer to the structure, then we'll use this operator, arrow. Otherwise, we'll use the dot operator. Okay, using these two, you need to write the example. అంటే ఒకసారి మీరు స్ట్రక్చర్కి నార్మల్ వేరియబుల్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలి, ఒక వేరియబుల్ పాయింటర్ వేరియబుల్ చేయాలి. సార్ రెండింటితోటి ఆ స్ట్రక్చర్ని యాక్సెస్ చేసి చూపించాలి. And next question is, how are structures nested in structures? Write a nested structure represent a rectangle. So just to create a rectangle, you can write a nested structure. Okay, just you can write it as one structure as the point. Just here you can take 2 variables, x, y. Okay, because to construct a rectangle you require the coordinates. Okay, so that for that coordinates you can use the point structure, and here you can write another structure as it's a rectangle. Okay, so within that we will create the point structure variables. Say for example start, that is starting point values. So another structure Ending coordinates are there in the end variable. Starting coordinates are there in the start variable. So that is within the start variable, we will have a one's x value and y value. And within the end value, we have an x value and y value. Okay. So that we are using a point structure within the rect structure. Okay. So like this also we can do, or we can write the point structure directly in the rect structure. Like that also we can write the nested structures. Okay. So whenever you want to access this, will be created a structure variable, say for example r, then you can use it as r dot start dot equal to x point value, end dot x equal to end point x value, r dot end dot y is equal to ending point value. Okay, ending point y coordinate. Okay, 2, 3 is the starting coordinates, 5, 6 is the ending coordinates. సో నేను ఫుల్గా రాయలేదు, జస్ట్ మీకు బ్రీఫ్గా చూపించాను. సో ఈ పార్ట్ మీరు మెయిన్లో రాసుకోవాలి, మెయిన్లో యూజ్ చేసుకోవాలి దీన్ని. Next question is for what is the enumerated data types, that is enum creation and write an example. And next question is write a structure to store the following information. The employee structure. Within that you need to store the employee code, name, salary, department number and hire date. Okay, you need to write a program to store the n employees where n is given by the user dynamically. So that is here also you need to use the arrays. But here it is not given that how many employees is. So we need to take a n value from the keyboard. Please printf enter n value, scanf you will be take the n, and for loop is repeated up to the n. For I equals to 0, I less than n. So remaining part is same, but there is only differences variables. Okay, next is what is the main reason for using the structure? What special keyword is used to define the structure? Give the syntax for the structure. Can anybody tell me what is the main reason for using the structure?
Because to access
different
data types.
Yes. Okay, the main reason of the using the structure is we can store the different types of values into a structure. Okay, by using the arrays we can store the same type values. Using the pointer also we can store the same type of values. But whenever you want to use the different types of values as a group, then we can go for the structures. Okay. Special keyword is struct. So that is a special keyword which is used to define the structure. You can write the syntax of the structure. Okay. Next is demonstrate how one structure can be copied to another of the same type. Okay, this is a simple example. Okay, just you need to create a structure. You can take any example structure, either it may be a student or employee or whatever it is. Say if you have a structure and you will be create the S1 and S2. For S1 you will be take the data. S1 enter the data. So using a scanf you just take the data for the S1. I'm just giving this as a only example. Okay, you need to enter the data for the S1. Just S2 equals to S1. That's copying of one structure into the another structure. Okay, we don't require any other code to copy the structure. Just make a assignment, then display the S2. Display. So you just printf and display the one by one variables in the S2 structure. Okay, this is of a one structure into another structure. Okay, next is how are the members of a union are initialized and accessed. Just you need to write one example for the union. Before to that you need to show that what is the use of the union, how we can declare the union. Okay, then you can show the example. Okay. Next is define the structure tag and explain what is its purpose. Okay, structure tag is nothing but struct, whatever the name you are giving to the structure, okay, that is called as a tag. Okay, so whenever you are creating a structure, you will be use it as student is called as tag. So you need to write about that one. So before to that, you just write what is meaning by what is the meaning of structure and what is the uses of structure. Okay, then show the syntax of the structure. Then you can write down about the structure tag. Okay, this structure tag is similar to the normal data type. Okay, so whenever you want to create a data type, you need to give the name to the data type, so that we are giving a tag for the structure. Okay, student is the data type, the name of a data type. Okay, so you are creating a data type with the name of student. Okay, so the structure tag purpose is to give the name to the data type. The data type is structure. Okay, for that you are giving a name as student, so that you can store all the students data into the student structure. Okay, you just remember that the structure tag is the name of the data type. Okay, these all are the tutorial questions, that is, sorry, previous papers questions. Once we'll go into the structures and see how to use all these three data types. And before going to that, we will see one more declaration is called as a type def. Okay, this is especially used to create the synonyms for the data types. Okay, whenever we have a lengthy data type, or whenever we have a short named data type, then we can create another name for that data type. Okay, so that will be used as the same as actual data type. Say for example, unsigned character is a data type. Okay, this is a lengthy data type, so I am creating that as a byte. Okay, so wherever you want to use the unsigned character, there I can use it as byte. Okay, byte, and the required variables can be created. Okay, this data type can be written in the small letters or can be written in the capital letters. Okay, there is no difference. Okay, you can create the a synonym for the any type of a data type. Okay, say for example, for the int you want to create another data type, then you can another name. Okay, then you can create it as type def int, and you can write as say num. Okay, so whenever you want to create a variable, then you can use a data type as nume. Just you are creating another name to the data types. Okay, this is the type def. Okay, next, enumerated data types. Okay, these are the enumerated data types are especially for to specify the names to the constants. Okay, names to the constants. Okay, to assign the names to integral constants or integer constants. Okay, whenever you want to give the name to the any integer constants, then we can create a enumerated data types. Okay, this is required whenever we want to use the a proper name for the integer value. Okay, say for example, I want to specify that as I am writing like uh, say this. Okay, the day is, that is today's weekday as weekday equals to 1. Okay, I am just giving it as weekday equals to 1. Okay, whenever you are writing a 1, you are assuming that 1 as a Monday. But no other will not know that okay, it's a 1 is a Monday. Okay, because if you are writing a program, then you know that it's a 1 is nothing but Monday. But the remaining people, they don't have any idea of that what is mean by the 1. Okay, they just think that it's only the number 1. Okay, but we are whenever we are writing a program, we are assuming that 1 as the Monday. Okay, so to specify a proper name for this number value, the 1, we can use the enums. Then I can write it as w day equals to, I can write it as w day equals to Monday. You can directly use the name as Monday. Okay, so that this Monday is nothing but it's a 1 itself. Okay, whenever you use this name, it substitutes the 1. Okay, so without using the 1, you can write a name as Monday. Okay, so it will be easy to understand. Okay, so that we can use the enumeration data types. Okay. Okay, this is a small example for the enumeration data types. Okay. We can be declare this as enum keyword, the name of the enumeration type, that is a week. These are the different values within the enumeration data type. Okay. So whenever you are specifying the values, that is the names. Okay, initially the names will be assigned with some integer values. Okay. So those integer values will start from the 0. Okay, if you are not specifying any value for the name, it starts with the 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, like this. Okay, if you are assigned any value, then those will be assigned with your given value. Okay, here we are assigning the value, so Monday equals to 10. Then whatever the values, whatever the names which are not assigned, okay, those will take the value from the previous name. Okay, the previous name is Monday is assigned with the 10, so the Tuesday takes the 11. Okay, the incremented value of a previous value. Wednesday takes it as a 12, Thursday takes it as a 13. Okay. Then again for the Friday there is a value assigned is the 10. So Friday is also 10. Then Saturday is taken it as a 16. Now the Sunday it takes it as the 17. Okay. So same as for the next example, second example, initially we don't have any values for the first 4 names. So it takes it as a 0, 1, 2, 3. For the fifth one, Friday 18, Saturday 11. Then we'll get the Sunday as 12. Okay, here the previous value is 11, that will be incremented and it takes the next value. Okay. So for these enums, we cannot assign any value, just we can use that value as available in the enums. Okay. So here the printf is to print all that values. Okay, the value of enum week. Okay, it just prints the MONTUE Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It prints all the values which are already stored within these names. Okay, it is printing the values are like this: 10, 11, 12, 13, 10, 16, 17. And the second printf, it prints all the values in the day enum. Okay, it is 0, 1, 2, 3. Then Friday is 18, next Saturday is 11, and Sunday is 12. Okay, like this we just use the names irrespective of the values. Okay, for that we can use the enums. Next. Okay, for the enums you will be get the only example is only you need to write an example and you need to write about the enum. Only these this is a possibility of a question you can get on the enums. Okay, just you need to explain about the enum, then write an example. That's all. Okay. Next, structures. Okay, whenever you want to combine the more different types of data types, then we can go for the user defined data type is the structure. Okay, structure is a user defined data type which can store the different types of data values. Okay. So example is like say for example I want to store the data of a book. Okay, the data of the book, it can have the title and it can have a author and the subject of the book and the number of the book. So whenever you observe the whenever you are taking a books in the library, whenever you open whenever you are seeing a book cover page, okay, you will be have the title of the book, author of the book, and the subject category. That is within the C language you can have the different types of books. Okay, so each book has a different title, different author. So and whenever you are using whenever you are using the books from the library, the library persons will add the number for the each and every book. So the book ID. And apart from this, we can also have the some other information like number of pages and the price, and we have ISBN number. Okay, like that also we can have the some more information. Okay. And to save these all different types of information into a one group, okay, we are using a data type is the structures. Okay. So user defined data types is nothing but we are creating our own data type as same as the existing data types like int, character, float. We are creating our own data type so that we need to give the name for our data type. Okay. So because the built-in data type int, there is a name which is defined by the C software. Okay, so that using this int we can store the any number value. As in the same way, if I want to store the student data, I can give a name as some student. Okay, you want to assume for the your data type, that you can use as the name for your data type. Okay, so that which gives a small brief explanation that you can store all the students data into the student structure. Okay. So this structure declaration starts with the struct keyword. Okay, this you cannot modify. The struct keyword is as it is, you need to use it is in the small letters. Next, you need to give the structure tag, that is the name of the structure, and at the same time this is the name of the data type. Okay, whatever the data type you are creating, for the data type the name is the structure tag. Okay, so then you can start the curly brackets and you can write the member definitions. Okay, this member definitions includes the variable name, data type. Okay, sorry, data type space variable name. Okay, so whatever the number of variables you have of a same data type, you can write in a one line. Okay, and close the brackets of the structure. Okay, if you want to specify the structure variables at the time of declaration of the structure itself, here you can write the structure variables and close the structure with a semicolon. Okay. So this is the one way to create the variables, or you can create the variables using the structure tag and then the variable name. Okay, that you can write after creating the structure. Otherwise, you can write the variable name at the structure declaration itself. And in the same place, you can you can initialize the structure also. Okay. Okay, this is a sample program for the structures. Already we have seen one program of arrays. This is books structure. Okay, there's a two variables, title and price, and close the structure. And within the main, we are just creating a two variables. That is, I want to store the two books information. So book one is a one variable, book two is the another variable. Both are of same type. The type is books. Okay. For that, we are creating a two variables. Okay, first we are assigning the values into that. Okay, book one dot title equals to C programming. We cannot assign the directly the value to a array variable, so that we are using a string copy strcpy of book one dot title comma C programming. Okay, for any string like which is created as an array, you cannot directly assign a string, so that use the strcpy function, and within the brackets you can specify your variable comma your required string. Then only the string is assigned to the variable. Next, you can assign the price as 649. Okay, this is a simple example. Wherever you are asked the question like how to declare a structure and how to access the structure and how to initialize the structure. Okay, for that you can write this simple example. We have another way is like this. Say for example, I have a struct say B. I have some variables like int a, and x. Assume that there are the two variables. There is another way to create the variables for the structure without writing like this. Okay, here itself you can create the variables. Say for example p comma q semicolon. That is, a p is the one variable for this structure B, and q is the another variable for the same structure B. Like this also we can create the variables. And without creating the that is with creating a variable, if you want to initialize it at the same time whenever you are creating a structure, you can write it as p is a variable, and here itself you can give the curly brackets. You can assign the values like for a is the 10, x is the 20, curly brackets close and semicolon. Like this we can initialize the structure at the time of creating a structure itself. Okay, you are creating a variable as p, and for that p variable you are assigning the values are 10 and 20. Okay. If you are writing within the main, if you are creating a variable within the main, then you can write it as struct b. uh, q is the variable. Okay. For that you can assign the values as, say for example, 3 comma 4. Okay, like this we can initialize semicolon. Okay. So like this also we can initialize the structure, or you can directly use like this. So any one of these ways we can write to initialize the various structures. Okay, either like this or like this or this one. Okay. Either you can use at the declaration or at the creating of a variable or after creating the variable. Okay. All these are equal. You can write any one of these ways. Next. Okay, next we'll go for the unions. So union is a special user defined data type. The working and storing of the values, accessing of our values similar to the structure, but parts is different than the structure. Okay. So that is within the structure it shows each individual in a separation, but in the union it creates only one set of, and within that only it shows the one after the other the variable values. So when you are showing the one variable value, then you are not able to show the another variable. So whenever you show one variable, it replaces the value which is already there in first variable and shows the variable value. Because only one memory location which is used by the variables of union. Say for example, you have in the union, three variables shares the same memory location. Say like x6 shows the 10 to the location.
Ma'am, voice break
Whenever you
out, ma'am.
y equal to 20,
Ma'am, voice break out.
voice breakout on the. Okay, I will try once again. Okay, whenever you are showing the y equals to 20, okay, then it replaces the 10 in the variable and it stores the 20. Okay, whenever you are saying that z equals to 30, then it automatically replaces the this 20 and stores the 30 value. Replaces the 20 and stores the 30 value. Finally, you have the only one value within the union. The final value only is there in the union. So why? Because the multiple variables of the union will share the same set of memory locations. Okay, that is only, it occupies the one variable memory for the all the three variables. Okay. So this memory location will be considered based on the highest size of a data type. Okay, if you have a three variables of three different data types, whatever the variable which has the highest size, only that size is considered for the memory allocation for the union. Okay. Okay, this is only used whenever we have the multiple variables, but we want to use only one variable at a time. Okay, I have multiple variables, but I want to use only one variable at a time. Then we can go for the unions. Okay. Here also the declaration is starts with the union keyword and union name. That is the union tag is the union name or data type name. Then you can write the member definitions. This is same as data type and variable. Data type and variable. Okay. And close the brackets. Here you can create the variables for the union. Okay. Semicolon. Okay. So otherwise we can write in the main union name, then variables. Okay. This declaration in others is the same. Okay, only the difference is internal memory allocation of the union is different than structures. Next. The example is here you will be declare the union with the union keyword and union name. Here there are the three variables. Okay, integer variable, one float variable, one is a string variable. string of 20 size. And there is a small data, small d data is variable created. Okay, so can you say how much of a size is allotted for this union? How much of a memory is allotted for this union?
4, ma'am. 4, ma'am.
No?
20, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. 20.
20. Okay, good. Okay, why? Because int is, there is a one variable, so it takes a 2 bytes, and float is a one variable, it takes a 4 bytes. Okay, but array is str variable, it is a reference for the 20 bytes. Okay, 20 bytes ki one reference variable is. So str itself, it has the 20 byte size. Okay, so there is a 20 bytes for the str variable. Okay, so that out of these three, the 20 is the highest. So this much of a memory space is allotted for your data variable. Okay, for union, it's a 20. But it can store only one value. Either you can store the integer value, or you can store the float value, or you can store the string. But you cannot able to store all these three values at a time. Okay. Next, there's an example program. Okay, same question, the same structure. Okay, three variables. Here variable is created data, and here we are just displaying the size of that variable. Okay. You'll be asked the question like access the variables in the union. Okay, you can write a scanf statement to enter the values for any one of the variable in the union and display the same variable. Or you can directly write like a data dot I. Within the main, you can write it as data dot I equals to your required value, say some 10, and you can display it. Printf %d data dot I. Then you can enter the value for data dot f, then you can print it. Then enter the value for data dot str, then again print it. Okay, like that you can show the accessing of a structure. Okay, sorry, union. Next, like this, data dot I, data dot f, data dot str. Okay, so here we have assigned the values. For the I is the 10, f is the 220, str is the C programming. Okay, which data will be there finally in the union? Finally, there is a data is C programming string. Okay, why? Because first it shows a 10, it replaces the 220, it is replaced by the C programming. So finally you have the data only C programming. But whenever you are displaying as an integer value, as a float value, as a string, it try to show this data as a integer value, as a float value, then as a string. The same, the C programming string is displayed as an integer. That is just like the combination character sum or ASCII code sum ga gani, otherwise it shows like a memory addresses. Okay, just it is trying to convert it into the int, but you will get the some garbage value. Okay, you cannot try, you don't try to calculate it. Okay, so just assume that it has a garbage value. Okay, float is also you'll get the garbage value. It is trying to show that value as a float. Okay, so that you will get the some different values like this. Next, these are the differences between the structures and unions. This is a very important question in the structures. Okay, structures unions concept lo manaki one of the important thing. You can write yourself, ఎందుకంటే మనకు ఆల్రెడీ మనకు డిఫరెన్సెస్ తెలుసు కాబట్టి అవి ఆ డిఫరెన్సెస్ అన్నిటిని మనం రాసేయచ్చు. Union is created with the union keyword, structure is created with the struct keyword. Union is a user defined data type, structure is also user defined data type. Union created for multiple variables of different data types, structure is also for the same purpose. Union is allotted with the one memory location, structure is allotted with the different memory locations. Union shares the memory, structure it allocates a different and it doesn't share. Union can store only one value and structure can store multiple values. Union reduces the wastage of memory space. Okay. Structure, there is no features like wastage of memory space. Okay. All variables are used in this. Okay. So this union is replaces the previous values of by the present value. It doesn't replaces it. Okay. And this is the declaration syntax of the union. This is the syntax of the structure, and example for the union and example for the structure. That's all. Okay, these are the main things you need to write as a differences. Minimum write 10 differences. ఎందుకంటే మీకు ఇచ్చే క్వశ్చన్ 7 మార్క్స్ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి you need to write at least 10 differences for the unions and structures. Okay. Next. About the union structures and enums. Okay, sorry, I'm going too fast, I think. So why? Because I think I spent more time in the arrays. Okay, so మీకు ఇంకా ఒకటే రివిజన్ క్లాస్ ఉంది. సో ఆ వన్ రివిజన్ క్లాస్లో మీకు రిమైనింగ్ టాపిక్స్ కంప్లీట్ అవ్వాలి. ఓకే, సో దట్ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ సంథింగ్ ఫాస్ట్. ఓకే, we'll go for functions now. Just ఒక 15-20 minutes ఈ functions చూద్దాం. Then in the Monday class we can complete the files and pointers. So within the pointers we'll see some important questions. Then we can go further. Okay, the network is okay? Is all of you able to see the PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think all of you know that what is mean by function and how to read the function and how to use the functions. Okay, just we will go through that. Okay. So function is nothing but it is a block of the code. Whenever we want to repeat the same block of the code for more than once, then we can go for the functions. Okay, this is a similar concept that we have in the Python also. So same as like functions are for a repeated block of the code. Okay. So this is also called as modular programming. Okay. Structured programming kaadu, it's a modular programming. Okay. This is not, sorry, it's a wrongly given. Modular program. Okay, whenever you are using the functions, then that is called as the modular programming. Okay. So by the default function in the C language is main function. Okay. Next. Okay, advantages of the function is first thing is to divide the program into the multiple small blocks. Okay, as a small parts we can divide the program. Okay, this is especially to solve the complex problems. Okay. Next, to reduce the repeated code. Okay, wherever you require the repeated code is to be written in your program, you can write that repeated code in your function and you can call that function for more than once. Okay, so that say for example if the repeated code is of 10 lines and you are repeating for 3 times that, then it takes 30 lines. Say if you are writing it as a function, then you can call that function for 3 times. So you'll be write only one time the 10 lines of a code and you'll be called for 3 times. So 10 plus 3, 13 lines. Okay, it's 30 lines are reduced to the 13 lines. Okay. So that is a use of the functions. And it is very easy to trace the errors, that is, and solve the errors also. Okay. That is without checking the errors in the 100 lines of a code. Say if you have a 10 lines of a code in the different functions, then it is very easy to trace the error. And it improves the clarity of the program. That is without seeing the 100 lines at a time. If you have divided that into the parts, then you can easily see the program and you can easily expand the program. Okay, this modular programming. Okay, these are the advantages of the functions. C functions is nothing but we have the different parts of the statements. There are the two types of functions. One is called as a predefined functions and another one is called as a user defined. Okay, predefined is provided within the header files and user defined is that is created by the users of the C language. And within the user defined functions we have the four types. Okay, with arguments, without arguments, with arguments, without written, with written type, and without arguments with written type, and with written type, without arguments, and without written type, and without arguments. Okay, like this we have the four types. Okay. So when we are writing a user defined functions, we'll be write them at the before the main program, that is after the include statements. There you can write the function prototype and function declaration also we can write here. Then we can write the main, or we can write the function prototype before the main and function definition after the main. There are the two ways to write the functions. Either you can write before the main or you can write after the main. If you are writing after the main, you need to give the prototype for the function before the main. Say for example, int sum. So here I have a function. So this is the one way to write the functions. Before the main, you can write the function. The another way is you can write the prototype of the function. Prototype is nothing but only you will give the first line of the function, semicolon. Then you can write the main. Okay, then you can write the main, and after the main you will be write the function int sum brackets, and here you can write the code. Okay. This is the one type. Okay. In these two types we can write the functions. Okay. Before the main or after the main. Next, function takes the parameters as the input and gives the result of the function as the output. Function definition is we'll write the return type of the function, function name, parameters list. Parameters list includes the data type and parameter name. Then you can write the local declarations of the function, and then you can write the statements required for the function, close the bracket. The example is int is the return type of the function, it is the function name, and here you can write the parameter, that is this is the input value for our function. That is I want to calculate something in the function. Okay, for that I need some input values that you can send as a parameter. And here you can write your required statements in the function, and whatever the result that is generated in the function, that you can with the return statement. To return the normal value, return minus x to return the negative value. Sorry, it's an absolute function. If the given value is a positive, you'll return it as it is. If the given value is a negative, then you'll be convert it into the positive. Next, once you are writing a function, you need to call the function to use that particular function. Okay, to call the function, you'll be use the function name and the values to the parameter. Okay. So I have written the function, but I didn't use the function. That is, I didn't call the function. Then there is no use of the function. So that once you created the function, you need to call that with the function name and the values for the function. Okay. So if the function is returning any values, then for that you need to create a variable and store the returned value into that variable. Okay. Okay, this you can write in the main, or you can write in the any another function where you are using this particular function. Okay, next, this is the way the values of a parameters are passed to the arguments. Okay, this is in the main program. Okay, arguments are given, the values of the arguments are given, those are sent to the parameters of the function. Just it copies the first argument value into the first parameter, second argument value into the second parameter. Okay. Next, These are the 4 different types of functions, with parameters, without return type, and without return type, without parameters, like that. So 4 examples. If there is a function of with parameters and without return type, you can write it as a return type as void and parameters with the required variables. Okay, this is a one type. And the second one is without return type and without parameters. So no parameters in the brackets and no return type. No return type is given as void. Another type is with parameters and with return type. There is a return type and also there is a parameters. And fourth type is there is a return type but there are no parameters. That is, there is no input values, just we have the only return type. So not only writing like this, you need to write these 4 types with the 4 example functions. Okay, you need not to write the complete program. Okay, you need to write the at least the function code. అంటే ఈ బ్రాకెట్స్ లోపల ఏదో ఒక 2-3 లైన్స్, ఒక 2 లైన్స్ కోడ్ అన్న ఉండాలి. ఓకే, ఒక 2-3 లైన్స్ కోడ్. సో ఓన్లీ బ్లాంక్ బ్రాకెట్స్ ఇవ్వకుండా అక్కడ ఒక 2 లైన్స్ కోడ్ రాయండి. ఓకే, సో whenever you are writing about the types of user defined functions, okay, give the 4 types and give the 4 function examples. Only the example to the function. You need not to write the complete program. Okay. Okay, this is the example of passing the array to the function. Okay, here in the function we have a return type is int, sum is the function name, the parameter is array parameter. So we have given the data type as int, the parameter is a, is the array of size 10. Okay, so here in the function we are finding a sum of values in the array I and sum equals to 0. Repeat the loop from 0 to 10 and find the sum of the value, sum equals to sum plus a of I, and return that sum value. Okay, for this in the main you need to create an array and initialize that array and call the function and pass the only array name. Here you need not to pass the index, you just pass the array name. Okay, and whenever you are creating the parameter, you need to specify the size more than the size, the number of elements in the main, are equal to the number of elements in the main. Say if the main function is creating an array for the 20 elements and that is passed to the function, at least you need to have the 20 size array in the parameter, or you can have more than the 20 but not less than the 20. సో ఎందుకంటే మీకు పాస్ చేసిన ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్లో ఉన్న వాల్యూస్ మొత్తం ఫిట్ అవ్వాలి అంటే either సేమ్ సైజ్ అన్న ఉండాలి, మోర్ దాన్ దట్ అన్న ఉండాలి. ఓకే, దట్ వీ నీడ్ టు రిమెంబర్. While calling the function, you can just pass the only parameter, the array name. Okay, sometimes we can also do like you can send the size also as a parameter. Okay, comma అని చెప్పి ఇక్కడ 5 elements ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి you can give the 5 also as a parameter, and here you can store that into some variable int n అని పెట్టేసి ఈ 5ని nలో స్టోర్ చేసుకొని, సో ఇక్కడ 10 ప్లేస్లో మనం n యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. సో ఇలా చేసుకోవచ్చు. బట్ క్రియేషన్ మాత్రం వీ నీడ్ టు గివ్ ద మ్యాక్సిమం సైజ్. సో ఇక్కడ n ఇవ్వకూడదు, మీరు ఈ 10 ప్లేస్లో n ఇవ్వకూడదు. కామాని ఇంటూ 10 n వేరియబుల్ యూజ్ చేసుకొని దాంట్లో వాల్యూ స్టోర్ చేసుకొని యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఓకే, whenever you are creating the array, you cannot give the any variable into the square brackets. క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు అరేకి వేరియబుల్ ఇవ్వకూడదు, అది మాత్రం కంపల్సరీ. మీరు ఎక్కడా కూడా ప్రోగ్రామ్స్లో ఆ మిస్టేక్ చేయొద్దు. అరే వేరియబుల్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నారు అంటే యూ కెన్ గివ్ ద సైజ్ ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎ నంబర్, యూ కెనాట్ గివ్ ఎనీ వేరియబుల్ ఇన్ ద స్క్వేర్ బ్రాకెట్స్. ఓకే, క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు వేరియబుల్ ఇవ్వకూడదు. తర్వాత ఎప్పుడైనా మీరు అక్కడ స్క్వేర్ బ్రాకెట్స్లో వేరియబుల్ యూజ్ చేసుకొని చేయొచ్చు. ఓకే, passing a structure to a function. Okay, for this will be create a structure first. Struct student, student number, age, student name. Okay, and there is a function is display function. Okay, so this function is used to display the values in the structure variable. ఓకే, సేమ్ యాజ్ నార్మల్గా మనం మెయిన్లో రాస్తాం ప్రింట్ఎఫ్. సో ఆ ప్రింట్ఎఫ్ తీసుకొచ్చి డిస్ప్లే అనే ఒక ఫంక్షన్ పెట్టి ఆ ఫంక్షన్లో రాస్తాం అంతే. ఓకే, సో విల్ బి రైట్ ఏ ఫంక్షన్ రిటర్న్ టైప్ యాజ్ void, నేమ్ యాజ్ ద డిస్ప్లే అండ్ పారామీటర్ యాజ్ struct student s. ఓకే, మీరు ఇంటీజర్ వేరియబుల్ పాస్ చేస్తుంటే int a అని ఇస్తారు. ఇక్కడ స్ట్రక్చర్ వేరియబుల్ పాస్ చేస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి యు ఆర్ గివింగ్ ఏ పారామీటర్ విత్ ద డేటా టైప్ struct student. The variable name is s. Okay, within the printf, just we are displaying all that values. Number is s dot s number, name is s dot s name, age is s dot age. Okay, so within the main, just we will create a variable for the structure s1, then enter the data. Using the scanf, you just enter the data for the structure variable. Just call the display function, display within the brackets s1. Okay, సో ఇక్కడ మీకు క్యాప్స్ స్మాల్స్ పడుతున్నాయమ్మా, ఎందుకంటే మేము టైప్ చేసేటప్పుడు క్యాప్స్ వచ్చేస్తాయి. సో మీరు రాసుకోవడం మాత్రం అన్నీ స్మాల్స్లోనే రాయండి, డోంట్ రైట్ ఇన్ ద క్యాప్స్. ఓకే, సో అంటే ఇక్కడ స్టార్టింగ్ లెటర్స్ అన్నీ క్యాప్స్ వచ్చాయి, సో అవన్నీ స్మాల్సే, ఎక్కడ క్యాప్స్ ఉండవు. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్. Okay, these all are the that is already we have seen the arrays and structures. So we are seeing an example here is how to pass that structure to a function, that is how to work with the structure and function and how to work with the arrays and function. Okay, దాని కోసం ఇవి ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ అన్నమాట. So next final topic in the functions is recursion. Okay, so we already know that recursion in the recursion concept. Okay, recursion is nothing but we can say it as whenever you are calling a function itself, then that is called as a recursion. The simple definition is whenever you are calling a function itself is called as a recursion. Generally we'll call the one function will call the another function, but here we will call the one function by itself. Okay, the same function, if it is a sum function, it calls itself, then that is called as a recursion. Say if I have a sum function and within the code of the sum function, if I am calling the same function again, then that becomes a recursion. This is a recursion, this calls itself. Okay, but it is a infinite recursion. మనం ఏం కండిషన్ ఇవ్వలేదు కాబట్టి ఇన్ఫినిట్ టైమ్స్ అది రిపీట్ అవుతూనే ఉంటుంది. Okay, so here in the recursion we must include the some termination condition. Okay, so because using that termination condition only, the function will stop the execution and it doesn't go into the infinite iteration. Okay, so this is especially to replace the iterative statements, because for the iteration of a code we'll use the iterative statements. Okay, without using the iterative statements we can use the recursion to repeat the statements. Okay, and there is a only disadvantage is the more memory is allocated for the recursion. Okay, because the number of functions are created, so that many number of functions are stored within the memory, so it takes more memory space for the functions. Okay, because and at the same time these all functions will not be closed until unless you are not closing this recursion process. Okay, and this is especially used for whenever you want to repeat a one complete function for more than once. Okay, not only the part of the code, I want to repeat a one complete function for number of times, then I can use the recursion. Okay, next, there's a recursion example, that is to find the factorial of a given number. So we know that this is the function for the factorial. Okay, so fact of int n, if n equals to 1, n equals to 0, then return the 1, else return n into fact of n minus 1, the current number into factorial of remaining numbers. Okay, that is 5 into 4 factorial, and again 4 into 3 factorial, 3 into 2 factorial, 2 into 1 factorial. Okay, like that it takes every time the number and its next numbers factorial. Okay, so this is a process Okay, first time it calls this first function. When n is reduced to 4, then it calls another copy of a function. Again it checks when n value is not equals to 1 or 0, then it calls another function where n is 3. And again n is not equals to 1 and not equals to 0. So it calls again the factorial function with n equals to 2. Okay. Again its n is not equals to 1 or 0. So again it calls a factorial function with n equals to 1. Now the n becomes the 1. So it returns back to the previous function. So 1 is returned to it. So here it substitutes the 1, and here in this copy n is the 2. So 2 into 1, 2. So this is returned to its previous copy. Here it substitutes the 2, and in this copy n is the 3. So 3 into 2, 6. Okay, this is returned to its previous copy. Here 6 into 4, 24. This is returned to its previous copy. 24 into 5, 120. Okay, this 120 is returned to the main program. Okay, so main program 120 is returned, and 120 is assigned to your f variable, and that you can show as output. Okay, so this is the recursion process. Okay, we'll write only one function, but within the memory it creates a multiple functions until unless the termination condition will not satisfy. Okay, there's a programming example for the factorial. Okay, there's a factorial function, and this is the main program. Okay, next. Once we will go through this storage classes. Okay. So we have totally 5 storage classes, which is called as local variables, global variables.
Ma'am.
We have different storage classes. Okay. So I will see one by one. Okay, first one is auto storage class. Okay, this auto storage class is similar to the local variables. Okay, the variable is automatically created, and the variable is removed from the memory. Okay, that we will call it as auto storage class. Okay, so for this we don't require any memory. This is it has a limited scope and limited memory element. Okay. So generally all the variables of our programs are auto variables. Okay, auto by default. Okay, whenever you are creating a variables like int a comma b, okay, those all are the auto variables because these all are the local variables. Okay, auto and local are the similar. Okay, these variables are created whenever the open bracket and deleted whenever the closed bracket is reached. Okay, these variables has the memory space until the closing brackets. Okay, so the example is here the void main. There is a one auto variable is created. Sorry, here it missed the data type. Data type misassigned. Okay, NUM it is. NUM 20. Okay, this variable has a memory allotted at this place, and it has at the up to the this closing brackets. Okay, and within another block there is it is created another variable as a number, okay, which is created in this open brackets and deleted at this closing brackets. Okay, so these all are called as a local variables. Auto storage class is similar to the local storage class. The variables are created whenever the variable is specified, and at the same time the variable is deleted whenever the closing bracket of that function is reached. Okay, next, external storage class. Okay, this is especially for uh, this is similar to the global variables but not exactly like a global variable. We have global variables is whenever you are writing any variable outside the main, okay, that can be called as a global variable. So here if you are specifying any variable, that is called as a global variable. Okay. So but this extern is like these global variables are used only within this current program, but external variables are can be used in the two different programs also. If you are writing a one C program, that is like a first.c, and I have another program second.c. In the first.c, you can create a variable, and that you can use in the second program second.c. So there you can use the extern keyword. Okay, especially the purpose of extern keyword is to use the one program variables in the another program. Okay, that is by specifying the extern keyword. Here you will be specify the extern అని ఇక్కడ స్పెసిఫై చేస్తారు. Assume that this is the program is second.c, sec.c, and there is another program called as first.c, and within that you will be declare the variable int a. Okay, if you are giving a value like 100 here, so ఒక first.c అనే ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ పెట్టేసి సో అక్కడ ఒక వేరియబుల్ డిక్లేర్ చేశారు. దెర్ ఇస్ నో అదర్ ఫంక్షన్స్. Assume that there is only variable declaration a equals to 100. Okay, just you will be compile this. You cannot run this program. ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ రన్ చేయడానికి కుదరదు, ఎందుకంటే మెయిన్ గానీ ఏం ఫంక్షన్స్ ఉండవు. ఓన్లీ జస్ట్ క్రియేట్ ఏ వన్ వేరియబుల్ అండ్ అసైన్ ద వాల్యూ. అండ్ ఇన్ ద సెకండ్ నాట్ సి, యూ నీడ్ టు ఇంక్లూడ్ దట్ ఫైల్. హ్యాష్ ఇంక్లూడ్ okay, and you need to specify the double quotes fir.c. this is my program name. డబల్ కోట్స్లో ఇవ్వాలి. మనకి బిల్ట్ ఇన్ హెడర్ ఫైల్స్ అయితే మనం లెస్ దాన్ గ్రేటర్ దాన్స్లో ఇస్తాం, బట్ సి ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అయితే డబల్ కోట్స్లో ఇవ్వండి. డబల్ కోట్స్ fir.c. Now you will be specify that extern int a. Okay, whenever your program is compiled, okay, it just postpones the creation of variable to the runtime. Whenever you specify the extern keyword, okay, that variable creation is postponed to the runtime. So whenever you run the program, then this fir.c program will be included in your program, so that automatically this variable is also created. Okay, so whenever you are displaying a printf, the c variable, the a variable, then you will get the value 100. మీరు ఇక్కడ ఏ వేరియబుల్ కనుక డిస్ప్లే చేస్తే you will get the value 100. Okay. So this is especially for the external variables. This is similar to the global variables, but global variables are used only within that program, but external variables are used within the between two programs also. Okay. Next, static storage class. This is also one of the important storage class. This is used especially within the functions. Okay. You can see a function is like this. Okay. Void function, there is some parameter is also void. It's not required to specify the void in the brackets. No parameters. Okay. There is a variable created as I equals to 5. Int is the data type, I plus plus. Printf, the I value. ఇక్కడ ఒకటి print చేసాం. You didn't get this type of a difference here. Okay, I will write a one small program for this. Say main. Okay, I'm calling a function for 3 times. Say some f function, f and f. I'm just calling a f function for 3 times. Okay. Okay, I have written the code for the f function as int I equals to 1, printf %d, here I plus plus. Okay. Okay. Whenever you see the execution of this program, for the 3 times you will get the output as for the first time it get into the function, and I is created and initialized with the 1, and it displays the I plus plus, that is a 2. Okay. So for the first time you will get that 2 value, and for the second time whenever you call the same program, it's a local variable. I is a local variable. So for the first function it creates a variable and displays the result and removes the variable. For the second time, again it creates the I variable, initializes with the 1, and again it increment and display the value. So 3. For the third time, again it enters into the function, creates the I variable and initializes with the 1, increments it and displays the result. So you'll get the, sorry. You'll get the 2 here, and here also you'll get the 2. So 3 times you'll get the 2, because every time it creates the I variable, initializes with the 1 and increments it, it displays that. So every time I variable is created as a separate variable and increment it and display the result as a 2. But whenever you are giving a keyword static, the variable is created for only once. Static space int I equals to 1. Okay, this is only used within the functions. Okay, so whenever you create it like this, whenever you call for the first time, it creates a I variable. Okay, within the memory, it creates a I variable and stores the value 1. Okay, this is created as a static variable. I plus plus, so it shows the output as 2. Whenever you call for the second time, okay, there is a static keyword, so it checks in the memory whether there is a I variable is created or not. It is already created and it has the value is 2. Increment అయింది కాబట్టి 2 ఉంది. Okay, so that it doesn't try to create again the variable. Okay, static and specify చేసిన వేరియబుల్ వన్ టైమే క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. It doesn't create the variable again. Okay, so it directly go for incrementing and displaying of a value. So it increments this value to the 3. So you'll get the output as 3. Next, for the third time, again it enters into the function. Again the static keyword is there, so that it doesn't create the variable. It go for the printing and incrementing the value. So 3 is incremented as the 4. You'll get the output as 4. Okay. So this is the difference of using a static and without using the static. If you are not use the static, every time the variable is created, printed and deleted. But if you are using the static, this is created for the first time and incremented and displayed the value. First time మీరు ఆ ఫంక్షన్ని కాల్ చేసినప్పుడే వేరియబుల్ క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. రిమైనింగ్ టైమ్స్ ఇట్ యూజెస్ ద సేమ్ ద వాల్యూ విచ్ ఈస్ ఆల్రెడీ దేర్ ఇన్ ద వేరియబుల్. So it doesn't create the variable for the second time and third time. Okay, so for that we'll use the static keyword, especially for to create the variable for only once and to use the same value for the next calling of the function. Okay, this is a static keyword. Register keyword is especially for within the processor we have some register locations, and within that register locations, if you want to store any variables, then you can use the register keyword, but you didn't get any output difference in the register variables. Okay, just like normal variables లాగే మీకు ఆ register variables కూడా క్రియేట్ అవుతాయి, వర్క్ అవుతాయి, బట్ మీకు అవుట్పుట్లో ఏం డిఫరెన్స్ కనిపించదు. ఓన్లీ యూ హ్యావ్ అ డిఫరెన్స్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ ద ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ టైం. ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ టైంలోనే డిఫరెన్స్ వస్తుంది, ఎందుకంటే మనకి నార్మల్గా వేరియబుల్స్ వచ్చి స్టాక్లో స్టోర్ అవుతాయి, రిజిస్టర్ వేరియబుల్స్ వచ్చి ప్రాసెసర్లోనే రిజిస్టర్లో స్టోర్ అవుతాయి. సో కాబట్టి ప్రాసెసర్ రిజిస్టర్స్ ఆర్ ఈజీలీ యాక్సెసిబుల్ దాన్ ద స్టాక్. ఓకే, సో విల్ గెట్ ఏ స్మాల్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఆఫ్ అ టైం. ఓకే, అదర్ దాన్ దట్ యూ డెంట్ గెట్ ఎనీ అవుట్పుట్ డిఫరెన్స్. ఓకే, నార్మల్ వేరియబుల్స్ రిజిస్టర్ వేరియబుల్స్ ఒకటే అవుట్పుట్ వస్తుంది, ఒకేలాగా కనిపిస్తాయి. ఓన్లీ ద డిఫరెన్స్ ఇస్ ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ టైంలో స్మాల్ సెకండ్స్లోనే డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ ఓకే, ప్రాసెసర్ కమాండ్స్ అంటే ఇవి ఆల్రెడీ మీకు తెలిసినవేను. హ్యాష్ ఇంక్లూడ్ ఇస్ ద ప్రీ ప్రాసెసర్ కమాండ్, హ్యాష్ డిఫైన్, ఎండ్ ఇఫ్, ఎఫ్ అండ్ ఇఫ్. డిఫైన్ ఇస్ టు డిక్లేర్ ద కాన్స్టెంట్స్ అండ్ మ్యాక్రోస్. సో ఇది ఒకటి ఉంది థర్డ్ యూనిట్లో లాస్ట్. All are the topics in the third unit. Okay. Okay, in the Monday class we will go for the pointers and files. Okay, pointers oka half an hour chuddam, 40 minutes and sorry oka 35 minutes pointers and 35 minutes will go for the files. Okay, meanwhile if you have any doubts you can post me. and I will give you the solution. Okay, మీకు ఏమైనా క్వశ్చన్స్కి రిలేటెడ్ ఆన్సర్స్ కానీ ఏదైనా ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ కానీ ఏమన్నా మీకు డౌట్ ఉంటే కనుక నాకు పోస్ట్ చేయండి. ఓకేనా? ఓకే, నవ్ యూ కెన్ లీవ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద క్లాస్.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.